Below the Void podcast.
So, do you consider yourself a serial murderer?
No, I don't murder people. I just get vengeance on them and they piss me off. And they die.
Right.
So wait, so like the dying is
Does it have anything to do with what you do to them after they piss you
is
off?
the dying like a direct
No,
result?
I
of-
just like throw them off a bridge or something.
Oh, so the fall kills them.
Yeah, fuck it. It's not me. It's not me.
Okay. Loophole.
Or I hit him in the head, bury him in a snowbank.
Wait for the
Boom,
plow to come
episode
by.
5.
That's that Zack Snyder
or from
Batman
underneath,
loophole.
let an icicle to fall off into their chest.
Let an icicle to fall off? Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
I tell
my
the
favorite
icicle,
method
I tell
of-
the icicle, I go, you want to kill him, icicle? You're very mean and angry.
It's going to be
The
an
icicle starts
manifesto
shaking.
later. I
Starts
let
shaking and then it-
officers, it's my duty to tell you, I let an icicle to fall on their chests. Oh, it's all right here. You're going away for a long time, buddy.
Straight through the
Then
sternum.
you know what I do? I take an icicle and I let it into their chest.
you let it to fall into their chest too.
Let it to fall, yeah.
Speaking of icicles, fucking my house is nice because, well,
Oh,
I don't. No. As far as the sun goes, I don't. It sucks because I don't get a lot of sun in the winter, so my driveway doesn't really melt anything off it. But I don't get icicles. I was driving over here today, and there's one by Mark's house, and then one in my neighborhood where a house has an icicle that's literally from their second floor part of the roof, almost to the ground, literally at least over 10 feet,
Jesus Christ.
and like fucking 3 feet wide. That is what I'll.
that would kill a motherfucker. Yeah.
Let to fall on a motherfucker.
Do you sing Queen Hammer to Fall when you just replace the lyric with icicle?
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the icicle to fall. Yeah. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, but I mean, yeah, I do that.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm good.
I had just the right amount of brewskis in me
I did too.
to feel a little silly.
Blair,
but
Blair, how many brewskis deep are you?
Zilcho.
Oh,
still chill.
seasoned
Blair-
sour cream.
Blair is the only
That's
one
an
doing
inside
this
joke.
completely sober. What a fucking turd.
Burglar.
Burglar. What do we got on the agenda today, fellas?
The rocket docket.
What's on the old docket?
Talk about some ripping in Atlanta.
Should we do
Ripping.
a sock? You got like Decepticon socks on.
Starscream.
Are they really?
No, they're
No.
just purple and black.
I've got this
Argyle? Classic.
Yeah, classic.
Champions with the left and right.
Oh, good. We see it. You're good at walking.
Yeah.
They're champions.
I have Gildan white socks with a hole in them.
Gildan white socks with a hole. Hell yeah, dude.
These are my work socks.
I knew you did.
oh, never mind. I got 2 holes. Got a hole in each one.
Well, they match.
I hate to say this,
You can
Blair,
keep
but
them.
you might need to get a new pair of socks.
I have thousands of socks.
I have a whole drawer.
Contrary
of
to
socks.
popular belief, I do have fun socks as well, but I don't wear them.
You just don't let
have
us see
a
'em.
laundry machine.
I got a what's the place called? Socks and Friends or whatever the fuck it's called in Mall of America.
I don't go to Mall of America.
Socks, SOX,
Socks appeal.
Socks Appeal.
Yeah.
Socks and Friends. Okay.
Get it?
Socks.
Man, I got a lot of socks appeal.
I got they had a 4-pack of
Will they
Socks.
sell their pants?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes they have
Dog
socks though. And I got a 4-pack of like neon like vaporwave ass socks that I
That's
haven't
cool.
I bought them like a year and a half ago. Still haven't worn a single pair.
In case you're at a rave with black lights but they don't allow shoes.
Yeah.
Boom. Cover.
Yeah. So I have these cool socks that I've been neglecting because my life is a sham right now. So
Speaking of stuff, this is some. We've been together for an hour or two now, but I didn't say it to you earlier, Don. I thought about you earlier today.
while you were
Not in a good way. No,
masturbating?
no, good way.
Oh, okay.
This is not,
No, not in a good way.
no, in a good way. This is
Oh,
not.
in a good way, okay.
I was beating the shit out of my dick.
Right.
And no, this is not negative because you have said before. Maybe it was on social media. You said you're moderately beardy, bald as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So this is not a dig at your hairline because you've stated that.
I'm bald as
You're
fuck.
rocking the nice beard right now, right?
Yeah.
You know what you should fucking do?
What should I do?
You should buzz your hair either as short as it can be or straight shave it and just fucking rock that Viking look. man.
Viking look.
Fucking
Oh.
Ragnar Lothbrok over here.
Yeah, you think
Or
so?
Bjorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pull that off.
Maybe I will.
Vikings is
I'm getting really fucking sick of my goddamn receding
just
hairline.
shave it, man.
We do have.
got the
we
beard,
have been
like-
told by hairstylists that we have the perfect shaped head for
I
being
do have a
bald.
perfect
So you
shaped
might as well
head,
try.
yeah.
Or you have the perfect hair for going for the friar look. Too.
Friar Tuck.
Do
Friar
it.
Tuck doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And he
You
also,
know that old saying.
you know how he got his name Tuck, right?
Yeah.
Tuck dance.
My name
true.
is
He
Tuck,
said, "Would you
and
fuck
I'm
me?"
here to party.
to party.
In my party wagon.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, I was thinking about that. You should shave it and fucking rock the Viking look with the beard.
Sure.
It
Then you
looks
should
good.
get. Then you should get a sword,
Then you know what?
and you should
No,
start
you
conquering
should
Not a
villages.
sword.
Right
Start-
now.
Conquering villages.
Yeah.
Start pillaging villages.
Why don't you
Rape the
shave your
people.
head right now live on this podcast?
Fucking do it.
with your bare
do it.
hands.
Well, no. No, I'm sure Mark's got a razor. If we can get a razor, I'll do it.
I have electric clippers.
Hell yeah.
Let's put a pin in that for now.
You look
Put a
good,
pin in
dude. Get
there.
What
you a
were
battle
you-
axe.
What were you talking about? We're going to talk about ripping in Atlanta. What does that mean?
The Atlanta Ripper.
Atlanta Ripper. Is that like a serial killer?
No, it's a serial.
Just out.
It's a serial murder. It's a serial icicle killer.
Serial icicle killer.
Serial icicle
you know,
killer.
you know, the Iceman cometh.
Yeah.
Where did he find an icicle in Atlanta?
Do you
Well, they
guys
got an inch
know,
of snow and the town shut down.
That's true.
I don't know where my iPad.
He has to make his own icicles.
Taking
now.
it full circle from the
He throws them like
the
javelins.
title of our last episode. Do you guys know what they call like going out for a couple beers in Canada?
What?
Going out for a rip. Going out for a rip there, are you, bud?
That's why that guy in Canada killed all those people and put their body parts in, potting soil and shit.
There's like
because he was ripping.
a Canadian
ripping.
rapper that has a song.
Talking about
This is
snow.
how-
Talking about snow.
I don't know.
The Canadian reggae rapper.
Oh, Informer.
Informer.
No, that's not him.
he does
Boom,
licky
boom,
boom
down.
down. Yeah.
That's the
great-
only Canadian reggae
No,
rapper
the
I know.
other
That's a great
Canadian
fucking
rapper.
song.
Oh, Nickelback.
I'm looking it up right
Chad
now.
Kroeger.
He's got a song. It's called "Just Out for a Rip." There, are you, bud?
Look at this. That sounds like something from like
Look at
Strange
this
Brew.
photograph. Is that what you were going to say?
Look at this photograph. You remember when that fucking girl in high school, for some reason, in high school, in our high school, you had once a week on Wednesdays, was it right? Like in the middle of the day
Oh,
was the advisement, like 45
advisement,
minutes,
yeah.
and you went there, and basically that your advisor for all 4 years is like, get your shit done.
Right,
And
yeah.
basically you didn't get shit done. You just kind of hung out or whatever.
kinda
Remember
dicked
that one
around,
girl? I
yeah.
can't remember her name. That for some reason, all 4 fucking years, she wanted me to sing like lyrics from that stupid first Nickelback single. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? And I have no idea why.
I don't remember the Nickelback part. I remember you being requested. I used to ask you to do the Aerosmith, the woman. Yeah, but
Still got it. But yeah, she had, what was that? The never made it as a blind man, never made it, whatever. I don't know why I don't look like Chad Kroeger. I don't sound like Chad Kroeger. I'm not that good a singer. Do you remember why that started?
I don't know. But this was
It was like the first day of freshman year.
It was before Nickelback was a meme too. Like it was.
That was
it
like their first single.
Yeah.
No, it was probably because she legitimately liked Nickelback.
right.
Well, yes, but why was I the one?
Because
don't know.
you had the what is it called the smoky timbers of your voice.
The masculinity, the
It fucking-
testosterone flowing.
It-
Yeah, when I
it
think
perfectly
masculinity, I think Chad
perfectly
Kroeger from
tingled
Nickelback.
her pachuchka every time you
She
did it.
did say that every time in the middle of the high school.
Yeah, she had a shattering orgasm every time you channeled Chad
shattering.
Kroeger.
I don't know what. And then Darren Bourgeoisie.
Oh yeah,
I hope he doesn't listen to this.
I drove by the Darren Boozer.
I thought about him a couple weeks ago,
while you were fucking your cat.
Yeah, I was fucking my cat. No, because
he
I was like,
pisses
you
on
know,
his cats.
that's one of those things. There's always a guy in high school, like a weird rumor starts about him, and sometimes it just really ruins him.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like,
Yeah,
I hope he's alive. I hope he's alive. So I Facebooked him. I searched his name, and it was definitely him. He's alive and kicking, and he's got a kid, and it seems like he's doing well.
Hell yeah.
Which made me feel good because I was like, that could have ended very poorly.
Yeah, dude.
You could have killed that cat fucker.
He's a bit of a weirdo, but he was always
He was a weirdo,
he was an
right.
okay guy.
I think
Right.
for the listeners at home that have no idea what you guys are talking about,
Let's leave it at that.
there was a kid in high school that just as a like
Shitty high school rumor.
Yeah, off the cuff joke, someone called him a cat fucker in freshman year, and it stuck with him for 4 more years.
Oh, God.
Like even people that didn't know
Like,
who
oh,
he
the cat
was.
fucker. Yeah,
I heard there's
That
even some
poor guy.
assholes doing a podcast in 2019 who are bringing it up still. Like,
Yeah. Fuckers.
Wow.
Hopefully someone's listening to this in the year 20.
Poor
Man.
guy.
High
Yeah,
school-
so I
high
thought
school
about it. I was
really
like,
suck,
that could have
huh?
been bad. I looked it up. He's doing okay.
good. That's
So-
good to hear. I thought
about
every
that
once
'cause
in
he
a
was in our
while,
advisement class.
every
That's
once in
what
a
he
while, I'll, like a memory from high school will pop into my head of like a random person that I used to talk to.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, I wonder what the fuck they're doing.
Usually
right
you
now.
see him at Willie McCoy's. That's why I see
Yeah.
him.
Since we're talking about advisement,
Or Target.
I got 2 more
Or
stories.
Target.
Should I end on a fun one or the kind of sad?
End on a fun one.
Okay, so remember that time when it was at the end of advisement, you and I were together. We walked down the hall, and we turned around and at our high school, there's 2 levels. And there's like a rotunda
I know where this is
opening,
going.
and 2 of them, and then there's like these concrete blocks down there that people can sit on. The bell rang at the end of advisement. Don
think
and
I
I
know what the story
This guy
is.
wasn't
Yeah.
in our advisement,
You're
but
giving
Don
us
and I
a
were
sad
there.
update on him?
No, I got nothing. I don't
okay.
know any of him. But we were walking around the corner 30 seconds after the bell rang, just enough time to see him and a backpack go over as he jumped over to try to kill himself. Thankfully, he survived.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
because
it's,
it's one story.
it's the second floor. There's
Yeah,
like,
but he could have hit one of those giant
Like, that's
what he was
concrete
aiming
blocks,
for,
and
yeah.
that would have probably killed him if he hit that with his head.
If he had, yeah, if he
Right,
had
I think that's what he was
bonked
aiming for.
his
He didn't,
head.
though. He jumped feet first.
jumped
yeah, he
feet
jumped
first.
feet first.
Yeah. But either way, it was.
just a
We just
cry for
turned the
attention.
corner
We
and
just
saw the backpack.
we're like, did we just see a guy try to
What?
kill
And
himself?
then everyone ran over there. So that's but he's okay. So it's not, horrible.
When you
story.
looked down, was it like in Dumb and Dumber? He falls out of the
No,
thing?
we couldn't get there. By the time we got there, there was already like 2 or 3 rows deep of people around the opening, and then below there was everybody and teachers.
Well,
so you
yeah,
couldn't see when you were down
I
there.
remember that because we saw the backpack go over, and then immediately from downstairs you heard like this shrill scream, like someone
Yeah, yeah.
screaming, and we're like, "What the fuck?
Yeah, because she got jump scared by a guy fucking jumping off the goddamn
Yeah.
railing.
Fuck this lie!"
Wow.
Fuck this loud.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that much.
Yeah, fuck this.
Look at that.
No, it was
Oh,
like
I'm
10
here.
feet, but it was still. If he hit those concrete blocks, could have.
Yeah,
But
especially with his feet.
That could have hurt.
But,
yeah, that would have sent a shock through your
but,
whole body.
That's the one. And then
Really
I always
ruined your
remember,
day.
just because we weren't doing homework and shit, and so just to get out of there and do something, Don and I always
Took out the
volunteered to take
recycling.
out the recycling.
Hell yeah, dude.
So we took out the recycling, and we took our sweet ass time walking the hallways when
Always got
no
it.
one was around, because
Yep.
for some reason no one decided to go to the bathroom during advice or anything. So it was like no one around but a couple rogue teachers. And I remember Don would I'd always try to get him to ride the recycling bin down the stairs.
Yeah.
I think one time he did it, right?
Yeah, well, to the second,
To the
there was like
plateau.
a plateau halfway
Plateau
down,
halfway through
yeah.
the stairs, yeah.
But yeah, it was a slow.
And I always
thing.
remember the time. Thankfully, it was the springtime, and we went out, and you had to go outside to the giant dumpster for
Yep.
recycling. And usually there was either someone there or it never locked or whatever. So we went out and we dumped the recycling because a little recycling bin's always been a 2-man job.
Always.
Yeah.
That's a team lift.
Yeah, we dumped that. I went back and the door was locked. So thankfully we had a half hour of outside time. We were just walking around the giant ass school to get back in.
The only problem though was that it was fucking freezing out,
Was it? I
and
thought it was nice.
we didn't have it was cold, and we didn't have our shit because we would just like have like a sweatshirt on when we would go out because you don't have to be out for very long.
Did it happen twice then? Because I thought it happened one time where it was a nice day.
I think we got locked out a couple of times. I thought
You
you were
were
gonna
real
tell
dumb.
this. I thought you were gonna tell the story about when you fucking did me rotten.
Tell
You
that
button
story.
hooked him?
I mean, I can't remember fully.
So we're
I
going.
think I know what he's going.
Mr.
to.
B, like when we're in high school, just like now, Mr. B was way taller than me, so
God.
he would dump the fucking recycling in. And one day, he dropped the bin in, the bin in the thing, and he's like, "Oh shit, Don."
It was recycling, not garbage. So it was all paper and cardboard. Just
Yeah,
to
it
let
was
people know.
recycling. He's like, "Oh shit, Don, can you jump in there and get the bin out?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I climb over, I get in there, I get the bin out. Mr. B goes, "Oh, cool, thanks," and he closes the fucking lid. on the,
What an asshole.
For like 10 seconds.
It was only for a few.
Then
seconds.
I opened it and I said, "Surprise, motherfucker!"
Yeah,
and then I reached my
immediately-
hand in and I pulled his ass out.
I immediately freaked out. That was a terrifying.
I wasn't
thing
gonna
that
leave him
happened.
in there like an asshole. It was
Claustrophobia set in immediately.
it was a fun joke for me. It was for an audience of one.
You locked me in a dumpster. God damn it!
Recycling dumpster, motherfucker.
It was
Paper
still a
and cardboard.
dumpster.
That's true.
Those dumpsters were fucking huge.
There was homeless people that jerked
think
off
you
in
were
those
gonna-
dumpsters.
All the
What?
time, yeah. Yeah, you never saw those guys?
In the dumpster? At least they made it in the dumpster. I mean,
Not all of them. Someone just humped the outside of it. Nothing,
Trash humpers,
Nothing like
like
cold
that movie.
metal.
we
on
had
the
very
dick.
different high school experiences, Mr. B.
Wait, is it that? And I remember having lightsaber fights in the hallway in our English teacher's classroom.
Ooh, they get you expelled now.
Yeah, this was back in the day when it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you can't have quote unquote
Okay.
weapons.
So
That's
our
cool.
our senior English teacher, the year after we graduated, me and Mr. B went back.
It was to see her.
Yeah,
It was to see her.
We went back to see her, and
I
Dude,
remember.
I don't. It was such a long time ago. Do you remember? Did we bring the lightsabers
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
or did we just talk about it? I think we actually did it.
I think one time we talked about it, and the next
time we
brought
actually
them.
brought them again.
We brought it up, and then 19-year-olds at the end of the day, everyone's leaving, and we're in there having a lightsaber battle as our seniors are like, "What the fuck are these idiots doing?"
No, you guys don't get it. We're way cooler than you. You just don't realize.
Right. Oh, that was so good.
And she still had a year later. She still had the drawing of Frank the Bunny from Donnie Darko behind her desk.
Yep.
So that's how you know she was cool.
Yeah, we got to watch Princess Mononoke.
Oh, hey, I had her. What was her name?
Mrs. Mork.
Yeah, we watched Princess Mononoke too. He was not.
Shit don't change, man. Shit don't change.
Yeah,
Wes like 14 years younger than us.
seven.
Still watching Princess Mononoke. Beating off in the back.
7. Jeez.
14 or 7. One of those two.
Yeah. You know.
It is a multiple of 7.
So
Well, this isn't a math podcast.
what
is
what
now,
is this
by the
Atlanta
way.
Ripper you keep bragging about?
I got a novella for you because my
Who wrote it? Stephen King.
yep,
Nice.
It's my
Okay.
favorite novella writer.
Me too.
Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. Because half of my notes got deleted, so I just had to copy and paste some shit.
Well, before we get into the meat, the heat of the meat, can we get a primer on what we're talking about
Primer
here?
meat heat.
He ripped in Atlanta.
He came.
He came hard. I don't know
He
about
saw.
that. That's what I said.
He
What
ripped.
what sort of time frame is this? Around the turn of the century, like
Turn of the century, 1911, 1912,
okay. And how many victims are we talking about?
over 20.
Whoo!
In just
Eat
a
your
year?
heart out, Jack.
He's making the Jack the Ripper look like a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, this ain't no Whitechapel. This is Hotlanta.
All right. Well, I mean, take us there.
And spoiler alert, it isn't Ludacris.
What the fuck?
It ain't Luda?
It ain't Luda. It ain't Chris Bridges.
Chris, parentheses, Ludacris.
So,
Bridges.
I'm gonna keep reading, but so it's not an hour long of me reading. I mean, unless that one girl's listening to it that Love Me Sing, Chad Kroger is listening to it for some reason. She might be into it. You guys got to interject.
How many Nickelback references are going to be in this
Can I
story?
interject right now?
4. Yeah, man.
Ludacris might be the best actor in the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah.
Well, until
except for Dwayne The Rock
Idris,
Johnson.
until Idris Elba.
Oh, have you guys watched that trailer yet?
Yes, it looks
Yeah.
Day fucking 1. I reiterate,
fucking
day
one.
goddamn 1.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna see.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
See, the
yeah.
fucking...
Yeah, they gloss over him being bulletproof pretty nicely. In
Yeah.
that,
Well, who gives a fuck?
he's
It
goddamn
used to
Idris
it used
Elba.
to be about just, Corona, Snapple, fucking Paul Walker being obsessed with sandwiches in the first one, and they drove fast. Because they were trying to catch the guys who were stealing.
Wasn't he obsessed with specifically tuna?
Tuna sandwiches, yep.
Which is a
And they were trying to stop the gang.
sneaky little sexual.
And he was trying to
reference.
find the gang that was stealing
DVD players.
VCR DVD combos.
What about in
Shit.
What about in what's the second one?
Too Fast, Too
Too
Furious.
Fast, Too
Eight
Furious.
Fast, 11 Furious. When Tyrese steals Dexter's dad's burrito, he goes, "Hey, that's mine." Like he practiced that line in the mirror. Man, hey, that's mine.
That was when he was just a good-looking guy. Now he's got acting chops.
What's Dexter's dad's real name?
James
James
Lamar.
Lamar.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What's his
He was
name?
on
And
the
what's his character's name in Warriors?
Ajax.
He's Ajax.
Oh,
He's Ajax.
Ajax.
He's gonna
from
stick
Warriors.
that-
How
he's
could I
gonna stick
forget?
that baseball bat up your ass and turn you into a fucking popsicle.
I want to be war chief. Yeah.
Oh, my fucking leg's going to sleep. I'm fucking sitting on the floor.
Dude, how good was the Warriors?
He gets caught
So good.
because he tries to grope a woman
got it in
in
there. Got Warriors.
the fucking park, and she ends up being an undercover cop.
Yeah.
For 4 years, I've been trying to put together, not all the years, but just around October, a baseball Fury,
Warriors.
a baseball Fury Halloween costume, but I can never find matching baseball top and bottom uniforms. Any thrift store will
Weird.
have thousands of baseball pants, but they're like, we have 2 shirts,
Yeah.
and they're both extra small.
Speaking of poorly acted lines from movies, can I do my favorite from the Warriors?
Hell
Yes.
yeah!
This guy knows what I'm talking about.
I think I do.
Hey, what about the money you owe?
Why not? Oh, what was our? We decided we were gonna have our own.
I don't know. How
Warriors
about
type-
for that shit you just took, you fucking idiot?
After we first saw that in summer of 2005, we came up with our own Warriors type gang. What, do you remember what we
The
were called?
Nerdcore Hustlers.
Nerdcore Hustlers.
Hustlers,
I remember we were
yeah.
all rocking messenger bags.
And our rival gang was the Dicktown Dickers.
Stickers, yeah. Do you guys remember what your weapon of choice was? Remember what mine was? Mine was one of those I don't know what it's called, those toys where it's like a plastic and almost looks like a banana shape top that you put a ball in and you can
Like a highlight.
kind of like that. It was
I think it's
that.
called a dildo.
It was a dildo ball thrower. And it was one of those, but I was gonna have it filled with pool balls. and I could whip it at people. That's what my weapon was. Do you guys remember what yours was?
Mine was a cheese grater, but the cheese grater was filled with cement, and then like a dowel was stuck into it, so it was a mace.
It looked like Mjolnir, but
it was
cheese
like
grater.
a morning star, but it was a cheese grater.
So you
I
jab it
think-
into their skull
wait, did
and
you
then
have-
scrape it down.
I think Derek had the best weapon. He had a wallet chain with a frothing disc with a blade around it. So he had like a chakram on a chain.
right, because I think we all had our froth disc as just like distractionary weapons that we could
Just distractionary.
distractionary.
Can I quote you on
Distract.
that?
Distractionary.
Oh, don't worry about that. It's just distractionary.
Or we could throw at him. And
You're
then
killing me.
Derek upped his game by adding fucking weaponry to it. The
Yeah.
distractionary.
No, distracted area.
I know.
Now the listeners can't not know the nerdy shit we used to do when we were fucking
You
younger.
gotta be ready to bop at any moment.
We were ready to
like
bop.
the king of burgers or whatever.
Yeah.
I had my,
Speaking of high school, yeah.
I had
Oh
my
my
old school. I had
God.
my fucking old school Nintendo. I still have that messenger bag.
Hell yeah.
14 years
Oh,
has been
yeah.
going. for
Make
me.
way for the king of burgers.
All of that just stemmed from those old papered Burger King hats.
Yep.
Finish the.
Yeah.
What's the next line?
Taste the tip of his salty French fry sword, and then Mark would be walking behind him, just like
Taste it.
gesturing at him. Taste it. Taste the tip.
Mark was always the follow behind guy with the.
I was the
extra-
king of burgers.
He was the king.
I know.
Derek was the salty squire.
The salty squire.
He was the fall behind guy that adds the
What was it
punchline
about
to the
his
joke.
sesame seed bun?
He's
Sesame
like,
seed bun
I was
shield.
the king of burgers.
break
I'm gonna
yourself
show
upon
you,
his sesame
king.
seed bun shield.
He was supposed to, and it's like I remember one of his deals was someone would say something, and he was supposed to go behind him and go one. And he just got pwned, and then you remember that time at Father Hennepin?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, you do.
I think
Remember.
you're mixing two things.
What were you
together.
supposed to? Well, okay, was it not one?
No, not for the King of Burgers.
No, not that. No. But I'm saying you were the punchline because Derek proclaimed you, and then you were.
Let's not
you were the King of
use
Burgers.
the Knight of the Nugget's real name.
Yeah,
The Night of the
Dr.
Nugget.
Night of the Nugget.
No, so it's not that. But I'm saying that you were the follow behind the punchline to the end. You were the
Salty
king,
Squire, the Knight
and
of
then
the
you were
Nugget.
that.
I think I was the sorcerer of the soft
And
drink.
my ex-girlfriend was there
Sorcerer of the soft
her-
That
drink.
was the milkshake.
with her new boyfriend.
Was it?
Milkshake?
The Mage of the Milkshake?
The
like
milkshake
that.
mage, something like that.
I don't know.
It was a magic user.
Sorcerer of the soft drink. I like them both.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do in high school.
or year after high school too.
And learn sometimes, but not that often.
You know what? Did any of us lose
We,
our virginity before we left high school?
No.
Okay, I think we're
I
painting
mean,
a
does
pretty.
banging a dumpster while your friend's trapped in it count?
No, that doesn't
Then
count.
no.
Yeah,
I
So-
was not ready to,
Really?
and I knew it, so I didn't even try.
I didn't have an opportunity.
I probably
so
wasn't
didn't
ready,
even try.
but
Y'all
taking
fucking
it.
nerds.
Oh, second,
Blair, this is a different time. You
That's
grew up
true.
with you went to high
That's
school at the
true.
time when everyone was just fucking everything.
That's true.
I
That's
lived
very
on
true.
third base, though. Let's not.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't do fucking.
I didn't have that
anything,
transitionary
so-
period. I kind of wish I did.
Oh,
I've
third
been
base.
Yeah, man. Finishing mouths.
I felt a tit like a week before I had vaginal sex. So
Yeah,
you
that's
went how quickly-
you went from nothing to
I wasn't
fucking
that
wham bam
quick,
thank you
but-
man within like 6 days.
That's hitting a home run in your second.
that was a whirlwind summer. Let me tell you.
Yeah, did you get a home run before you even touched first or second or third base?
What's a home run?
What do you think a
Fucking-
home run is?
Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just said it was like a week after I felt a tit for the first time.
Right, but I didn't know if in that
second
week and a
base.
half if you got to second, if you got to third beforehand.
No,
You cheated. You just went,
I
"Ooh."
never got to third, ever,
What a frost
ever,
ice cream.
That sucks.
I can't remember what
That's terrible.
stand-up comedian it is, but he's talking about
until I was 30 goddamn 1 years old.
I think he's talking about girls from Jersey or something. He's like, "Oh, it's Tom Segura," but where's he talking about? He's like, it's girls with eyebrow piercing.
Oh yeah,
It's like fisting is their second base.
yeah. It's so true. I'm just kidding. I like eyebrow
Done.
piercings. I'm only joshing.
Done.
How
And
did
you
we
love
get
this.
here from Atlanta Ripper?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Oh yeah, because we started talking. You got into Ludacris, which
Yeah.
then led us on to Fast and
Fast and
Furious,
Furious.
I
which
asked
then led us on to
sandwiches.
the Warriors.
I asked for
Warriors.
permission to interject
Yep.
before I interject.
You did.
Whew,
Yeah.
God damn, that is some next level.
That's how you fill the time.
Yeah, we're already like a half hour in.
And I got like 4 hours of material here.
Fuck it, let's hit it.
Buckle down. We're ready.
I gotta get on my fucking knees.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
you
Hold
do.
on. Let me get in position
My
here.
legs were falling asleep. Let me get
That was quick.
Oh please, there's not enough to choke on, and you know it.
I got a very, very low tolerance for gagging. I gag, brush my
Okay.
teeth sometimes.
Sometimes. I do
All the time.
Yeah,
I would be a
say.
horrible gay man.
Yeah.
What about
just use
eating
my
a
hand.
banana?
I can down it like a champ.
Oh, okay. That makes no sense, does it?
Because it's mushy.
That's swallowing a whole.
It breaks itself upon the back of your throat.
Yeah, cocks don't usually break in my mouth.
Usually,
Emphasis
it's
on the usually. Usually. Go ahead. We're ready.
Okay. Let me start reading. So, racial prejudice was life in Atlanta in the early 1900s. And
oh yeah, I'm glad
African-American
that's
community.
over.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, but it was probably
Yeah,
way
it was
worse.
probably worse. Yeah.
I wasn't there at the time. I didn't get there till 1913. Rocked by several tragic happenings. Among them was the 1906 race riot. A few years later, a crime spree began that ended the lives of at least 20 women. 4 times the number of victims of the original Jack the Ripper, for whom the Atlanta killer was named.
So did he only kill black people?
Yes, black or mixed race.
What an asshole!
Yeah.
I
But
normally
they
like
think-
serial killers, but fuck this
they
guy.
think he was they think the killer. I couldn't find out fully why. One person said that they saw him, and that was probably it. But no one knows if it was the same person. That they believe it was a black man killing black people too. So it wasn't necessarily a race thing.
One of
But
those self-hating ones.
yeah, maybe.
Shit.
That sounded horrible. Oh, doggy. Hi, doggy.
Hi.
There she goes.
So because it was 1888 when the Ripper and stuff, so that kind of was
The 9th of November,
It was
1888.
It was the everyone's head. That's why Atlanta newspapers just named him the Atlanta Ripper. Okay, throughout 1911, Atlanta became the scene of murder after murder. The Ripper's victims were all young black or mulatto women in their 20s. While there were no fewer than 6 men arrested for the crimes, it was never ascertained if the killings were the work of one man, or multiple men, including the ones who were arrested and tried for the murders. At least one man was convicted of one of the murders, although the newspapers were uncertain if he actually committed them.
That's always good.
Yeah, as days turned to years, the murders continued, although with less frequency. By the time the Ripper was finished, nearly 24 were dead, and their murder vanished into history.
Jesus.
He was never caught.
Never officially.
Never officially caught or tried for it. The one guy for one of them, but they still don't think he actually
This
did
was
it.
in the 20s?
1911.
1911 and 1912.
So the
1912 was Velisca, right?
Yeah, and Titanic.
And Titanic.
Yeah. So
That came out in the 90s. What are you talking about?
Got him.
Nice. So
what was that, Mr.
I don't know.
Nice.
I was reading nice. I'm trying to find a spot. Okay.
Oh, Tracer. What are you doing?
So less than 5 decades after the Civil War, the Atlanta of 1911 prided itself as a gateway to the New South, with almost a dozen major railways passing through the city. The city business was booming, new buildings and homes were constructed, and a lot of the businesses, like African-American black people, were actually starting to own businesses down there. So, I mean, I think it sounds like they were a little ahead of the curve in some aspects.
Yeah.
But in others not. We'll get to that. For a select few of the city's African Americans, Atlanta was a model for racial tolerance. Black-owned businesses had sprung up on the streets. Local colleges like Atlanta Baptist College, Morris Brown, and Atlanta University were considered among the best black temples of learning in the nation. But there was still lots of, racial tension and racism. So, not surprisingly, when young black and mixed-race women began showing up brutally slain, it was cause for much concern in local newspapers, circulated largely among white readers, and staffed exclusively by white reporters and editors. The 3 city newspapers were more concerned about the crimes among whites than the crimes among black people. So it got very little attention. Evident from a story in the Atlanta Constitution from May 29th, 1911, which buried a 2-paragraph brief on page 7. Page 7 of the paper, headline, Negro woman killed, no clue to slayer, was found with her throat cut near her home. And then the brief went on to say that the mutilated body of Belle Walker was found by her sister on Sunday morning after Walker failed to return home the night before from her job as a cook at a home on Cooper Street. So
I wonder if like you were saying, the newspapers didn't want to report on it. I wonder, do you think the cops felt the same way? Like they didn't want to investigate it as much?
It sounds like that was the case. Although I'm sure some were more than others were trying to, but it sounds like they didn't care as much and put as much effort into it.
Well, could that be a reason why they were
probably
why the targets were all?
So Belle Walker, her body was found 25 yards from her home by her sister. She didn't run home. Her throat had been cut. Her shoes were gone. So that was like their MO. For some reason, it took their shoes. Couldn't find out anything why anymore.
Cobbler.
Do you think they went up to him? Hey, those shoes are to die for. Slash. I mean, I would.
I know you would. I've seen you do it.
You'd be like, shit, I'm the only one who would get that.
Yeah, if I were a serial killer, I'd be the pun killer.
Pun killer.
They said her body was mutilated. Like, were they just talking about having her throat
I think
cut?
at the time they said it.
Because I know, like the Ripper used to like
this guy
cut their genitals
this
out.
guy gets word, but the first one was just throat was slit.
Okay,
but he escalates. Some of the victims I couldn't find a lot of information on, so it's just little tidbits. And some of the names I couldn't even find who. They're just, unfortunately for them, in the history books, they were just a person that was killed. So that was May 28th. On June 15th, Addie Watkins was found with her slashed throat, followed on June 27th by another Lizzie Watkins with her throat slit. On July 1st, a 20-year-old woman named Emma Lou Sharp was at her home on Hanover Street waiting for her mother, Lena, to come home. Emma Lou was worried that her mother left an hour before to get groceries and still hadn't returned, which was cause for concern because of all the recent murders. Frantic with worry, Emma Lou set out to search for her mother. At the market, she learned that Lena had never shown up. Emma started back home, and she walked down the dark street and was approached by a stranger, whom she later described as a tall, black, broad shoulders and wearing a broad-brimmed black hat. So kind of Ripper-y looking with the hat.
Broad-brimmed black hat.
Kind of, yeah. The man asked her how she was feeling that evening, and Emma Lou replied that she was well and tried to walk past him, but the man blocked her path and just simply said, "Don't worry, I never hurt girls like you." Which I don't get if she was...
She wasn't wearing
she was
shoes.
black, but maybe she wasn't wearing shoes. I don't know. I don't know why he didn't. I never hurt girls like you. Then he stabbed her in the back.
Ah.
Right. I don't hurt girls like you. And he stabbed her in the back.
She was
Bleeding,
wearing the
she
best
ran away,
shoes.
screaming for help. So she got away, but tragically her mother was already dead. Her mother's head was almost severed from her neck. She was missing.
Didn't mean to take your head off there, bud. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Just want to go ripping. So yeah, so I don't, yeah, so also I don't hurt girls like you. Stab the bang.
Just
Why do I got to be the stab victim?
Because you're next to me.
Oh.
I don't hurt girls like you.
Oh.
stab.
I just fuck guys like you in prison.
I don't fuck guys who want it.
I love Roadhouse
an old
references.
Yeah. So yeah, police found nothing, seemed not to be trying very hard, as we talked about. The people of Belana had believed that if, you know, it was white women murdered, that the police probably would have put more effort forth.
Yeah, no
And they
shit.
probably would have, unfortunately. And on Saturday night, July 8th, 22-year-old Mary Yeldell left the home of W.M. Seltzer, where she worked as a cook. As she walking past an alley, she heard a whistle. She stopped, and coming toward her was, as described, a Negro man, tall, black, and well-built, and moving with a cat-like tread. Mary ran screaming back to the Seltzer house. Mr. Seltzer met her at the door, then grabbed his revolver. He ran to the alley and found the man still standing there, but when Seltzer told him to raise his hands, the man darted back into the alley. Seltzer called the police, but their search turned up nothing. So there's two people that got away from him.
He was moving like a cat. How?
As they just said, moving with...
He was meowing.
Yeah, he was moving with a cat-like thread. I'm guessing just very soft-toed and
He
more
was on
kind of
his tippy
agile,
toes.
but my cats aren't that agile.
He was tipping.
You know he is
Tiptoe
about.
through the
So you
tulips,
knew he was about to pounce if he like shook his butt first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, his butt got really high up in the air.
That's his tell.
Yeah.
The marble started turning in his throat.
Yeah.
God, if that Seltzer guy would have just fucking lit him up.
Yeah, he
He
should
could have saved a lot of
shot him in the back.
lives.
Yeah. And back then, even if it happened to not have been the killer, he probably wouldn't have gotten that much trouble.
He sounds rich. Yeah, he probably could have been like, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
He would have been like, okay.
Right. But hey, he did the right thing. He helped the girl, and
Yeah.
not his fault they couldn't get anything. Within days from that, black churches across Atlanta put together a reward for capture and arrest of the killer, stating that the foul and unpunished murders have placed a reign of terror over the laboring class of women of our race. But the reward turned out to be, useless because no one found shit. 3 days later, on the morning of Tuesday, July 11th, a group of men working on a sewer near the intersection of Atlanta Avenue and Martin Street came upon a large pool of blood in the road. They followed the trail of blood to a small gully, love gullies, about 30 feet away, and discovered the lifeless body of Sadie Hawley, who worked at a local laundry. Her throat had been cut savagely. Now you make me laugh as I read her throat had been cut savagely.
We didn't make you say you love bellies.
I know, he's giggling Gus over there. Sorry.
Like that. I was laughing. It's like that's the thing that makes you stop in your story.
And I hadn't thought about this when I was
Love
writing this stuff. When I
gullies.
was writing this stuff, I just saw it there and it was like, fucking gully. Oh yeah. Get the giggles out of my way. Her throat had been cut so savagely that it almost been she was almost decapitated. Like other Ripper victims, she was fucking gone.
She didn't pull through.
Nope.
Oh.
Got it.
So, but 24 hours after the discovery of Sadie Hawley's body, they arrested dude Henry Huff, a 27-year-old laborer. Huff had been seen with Holly the night she was killed, police said, and was wearing bloody clothes and had scratches on his arms when he was arrested. But Huff ended up only being held on suspicion for a while. Atlanta's black community was more than simply concerned about the murders. Faced with the lack of results from the police, they called on authorities to hire black detectives. Leaders of black churches urged the city council and governor to add to the reward they had already established for the capture of the killer. Their petition was endorsed by many prominent white residents of the city, including Asa Candler, founder of Coca-Cola, future mayor of Atlanta. So some white people are stepping up. But for what I don't know. I don't believe they actually hired any black detectives or not. Not that I found.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
What they need to get Rick Grimes on this shit.
Oh yeah.
Coral.
Hog tying a beast.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Yeah, raspberry.
Unfazed.
Yeah.
I tried to give her one when we came in, and I challenged her, and she ran away from me.
Yeah. You get raspberries. Okay. Murder and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Not long after they arrested Huff, the police also picked up Todd Henderson at a saloon on Decatur Street. Bless you. A man claimed that he had seen Henderson with Holly in a drugstore not far from the murder scene on the night she was killed. Emma Lou Sharp, who survived the close encounter with the man thought to be the Ripper, as we talked about earlier, was brought into the station to see if she could identify Henderson. When Henderson spoke, a reporter from the Atlanta Constitution wrote that she shrank back. Even though a reporter from another magazine, The Georgian, said that her identification wasn't solid, I guess her body language didn't seem like she was that convinced. But then Emma Lou said otherwise. She told reporters, "That's the man. If that's not the man, I'm badly mistaken."
If that's not the man, I'm wrong.
I'm badly mistaken. I know. I'm badly mistaken. If that's
Either
not
that's the guy or it's not.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So this is the dude, or? And although the case against both Henderson and Huff remains circumstantial, police decided to hand both over to the prosecutor in hopes that a grand jury would sift through the evidence. And grand jury, you sift through it. You decide we're going to indict a man for murder of Sadie Holly. But were the other men right? Even the police didn't think they were right, but everyone was mad, so they arrested some people. Over the weeks that followed, the murders stopped. On August 9th, the grand jury indicted 2 men, Henry Huff and a new suspect named John Daniel, not Todd Henderson. I guess Todd got off. He just left.
Sounds like Todd.
Yeah, it's a real Todd thing to do. Huff was indicted for the Holly murder, but the papers offered little evidence on Daniel other than to say that he was also a Ripper suspect. The absence of murder soon came to an end. On August 31st, more than 6 weeks since the last killing, Mary Ann Duncan was found in an area called Blandtown, west of Atlanta.
Blandtown?
No, take that D and get it out of there,
Oh,
you dumb
Bland.
son of a bitch. It's just Bland. Blandtown. Not Tin, Blandtown.
If people were getting murdered in Blandtown, I don't think I'd be very interested.
Yeah. They got murdered in
Whatever.
Blandtown, which is west of Atlanta.
Got it.
Okay.
She was found lying between a tangle of railroad tracks. It had all the earmarks of another Ripper murder. 20-year-old victim was found without her shoes, and her throat had been cut ear to ear. Despite the indictments of Huff and Daniel, both the media and police were certain they hadn't arrested the true Ripper. That fall, the murders of young women resumed. The body of Minnie Wise, described by the newspaper as a calmly mulatto girl, was found in an alley on November 10th. Her throat had been cut, her shoes removed, and the index finger on her right hand had been severed at the middle joint.
Ugh,
What?
that's fucked up.
Yeah. Taking that index finger. And now I'm thinking I'm getting to the point where I just had to copy and paste some stuff. So now some of this, maybe if I can find it, I can give the guy credit, but is someone else's writing.
Okay.
Thus, I just took information from and copied, pasted, and added my own shit. But now, okay. Where was I? November 10th, throat slit. Index finger. Got it.
Yeah.
This time, newspapers nationwide were running stories about the Atlanta Ripper. Detectives from other cities offered their services. Mayor Wynne was getting embarrassed. In a letter to one of those outside detective agencies, he struck a defensive tone. Atlanta is known throughout the country as one of the most law-abiding cities of its size in the United States, and its police and detective departments are second to none. It is true that in some instances, criminals escape arrest for a time, but even escapes of this kind occur in all cities. Things were looking bad for Atlanta, and they were about to get worse.
Oh, no.
Just 1 week after the mayor's office sent out that letter, Atlanta saw one of the grisliest murders yet. This time, the victim's head was cut almost completely off.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Blair, pause for effect.
Yeah.
Damn. Her head was almost cut completely off. Her heart cut out and left lying by her side.
Nice.
And her body disemboweled.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Where were her bowels left? Or
That
were
I don't know.
missing?
They left disem.
They were dissomed. They were dissomed.
Were they bad?
I don't know. I don't know if they took the bowels or if they left them next to. I don't know.
Really stepped up his game real fast there.
Real fast.
He was like, I'm gonna try index finger. Let's do heart this time. And
Oh,
bowels.
this just happens in all cities where you can't catch killers? Guess what?
Guess what?
I will eat your heart. Yep, got that disemboweled. Newspapers attributed the crime to the Ripper, and on November 23rd, the Constitution ran an interview with an unnamed detective. Fed up, embarrassed, and looking to blame someone, the detective struck out at every black person in the city. That was nice.
Oh, that's good.
He said, "We won't get to the bottom of this thing until we get some help." Again, this is someone else's quote from 1911.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not. That's not that bad.
Oh, okay.
That's
So, but I'm
N-word,
saying-
just use. Just
No,
say
it's
gingers
not.
instead.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that word even in this context. But he said we're not getting to the bottom of this thing until we get some help from the Negroes. These murders are being committed among the lower class of Negroes, ignorant, brutal beasts that know nothing else. Their acquaintances are afraid to talk, but if there was a little money slipped there, then we could find out invaluable clues, and I wager we would land the murderers, but we haven't got the expenses.
Nice guy.
I'm surprised he
Wow.
didn't say darkies.
Classic.
What
Wow.
a fucking piece of shit that
That's
guy
a
is.
Lord.
I was gonna say because I didn't want to do like me just start reading like, oh, Mr. B worded this.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Real stand-up gentleman.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
At the black churches, pastors warned their female congregates about going out at night. At Big Bethel Church, a basket was passed around and $1,200 was raised to add to the reward for the Ripper's capture. The pastors were still clamoring for black detectives to be retained to help track down the murderer. Hang on. Yeah, sorry, I thought I actually copied and pasted up twice. Meanwhile, Henry Huff, who had been accused of one of the Ripper murders, was found not guilty by a Fulton County jail. The Georgian noted, "This means that police department and the county authorities are as far away as ever from a solution to the Jack the Ripper murders."
Well, I mean, yeah,
call
the
it
fact
Jack
that they're still happening while he's locked up is probably a pretty good indication that you didn't get the right guy.
Unless it's like a
Obvi.
law-abiding citizen situation.
Jerry Butler.
Oh, shit.
Jerry Butler?
Jerry Butler.
Jerry Butler, yeah.
Jane Fox,
I didn't know
right?
you guys are so close. You call him Jerry.
Yeah. Gee, too much.
Too much
Too much dick.
That's why I get too much dick. Throughout the winter of 1912, more young women were found with their throats cut by the pace never again reached the early. What? What the fuck did this guy say? But the pace never again reached the early summer of the year. Okay,
there we
They
go.
don't
There we
fuck
go.
these
That made
words
sense.
all
the
up,
early
man.
year before. Just had to keep reading like you do, left to right.
I got a fucking spot, Tony.
In March 1912, the Constitution blandly reported that a grand jury had concluded that an Atlanta Ripper was a myth. You know, never happened.
Yeah.
Those bowels were just dissemed themselves.
Yeah, they disarmed themselves. That's
Each
what
murder
happens.
was committed by a different man. In each case, it was the result of jealousy following immoral conduct. But the story, which ran just 4 paragraphs, didn't explain how the grand jury reached its conclusion. Yeah, it's just jealousy, and they're immoral.
I think
Immoral.
I can deduce how they did
Oh,
that.
how do you?
They pulled it straight out of their fucking racist assholes.
Oh, that's what they did. Fecal sample.
Fecal sample.
Got it.
Fecal sample.
Got it. A month later, the same newspaper ran a story with the headline, Jack the Ripper turns up again. In this case, the body of a 19-year-old... I have no idea what this is. In parentheses, Octoroon, in quotes, Octoroon girl?
Googling it.
Google Octoroon for
Oh,
me.
it means she's 1/8 black.
1/8 black.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Octo.
quadroon.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yep.
quadroon.
I
means you have
never heard it
one
broken
black
down
rib.
quite that much as 1/8. But okay.
Yeah.
An Octoroon girl was found in a clump of bushes at the end of Pryor Street. She'd been stabbed in the throat. Oh, stabbed in the throat.
So her throat wasn't even cut. She was just stabbed.
just stabbed in the throat. Well, she was only an 1/8 black.
Yeah. She didn't get the full ear to
Now,
ear
if
treatment.
you want to say that one wasn't the actual Ripper,
Maybe, yes.
because that one seems a little bit different
Right.
enough.
By the spring of 1912, the daily papers were writing about the Ripper's 20th victim. Oh, this fucking asshole. Now he's just getting younger and younger. A 15-year-old,
Oh.
in quotes, pretty Octoroon, found float... I guess she was just pretty. Not an Octoroon. That was it was pretty Octoroon. I think they should put a comma. Pretty Octoroon. She was pretty Octoroon. Found floating in the Chattahoochee. Man, the Chattahoochee.
Not the Chattahoochee.
The Chattahoochee River, her throat cut, body mutilated.
Shoes gone?
15-year-old.
She have any shoes?
That I could not find.
Oh, okay.
But the water could have taken them. Water
Sure.
was-
That's true. Water does love shoes.
So as you get this now that again, I don't know. That one sounds more like it, but he's just going younger and younger instead of sticking with like the working class 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
So that one maybe might not have been,
Or,
but very well could have
I
been.
mean, maybe they did catch the right guy, one of the guys, and that was just a copycat or
Copycat,
something.
very well. Yeah, very well could have been.
Or the older people were getting better at like keeping themselves safe, so you had to go
That-
for younger.
That could be too.
Guys, I only have 4 pages left.
Oh shit.
How many have you gone through?
78.
2. No, I'm getting close.
That's what she said. I'm getting close.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
But then she never says I got there.
No,
that sucks.
definitely not.
The police kept on arresting black men for the murders. In late April 1912, so a couple weeks after Titanic. I'm sure that probably didn't help. That was probably took over the newspapers and they didn't
Yeah.
care about printing about this shit.
Same reason Velisca got buried.
Yep. And Iowa. But yes.
And the whole state of Iowa.
In late April 1912, a man named Charlie Owens was sentenced to life in prison for one of the so-called Ripper murders committed in Atlanta during the last 18 months. The newspaper story didn't say which murder he was convicted for. In a few weeks, the papers were attributing yet another murder to the Ripper. Was this just a ruse to sell papers, or the Ripper murders the work of more than one man committed over a 1-year period? We don't know. Apparently just the one guy. They're just like, oh, you killed one. You're the Ripper. But we're getting
You did
the
it.
one.
It was you.
It was you. You ripped one,
Okay.
but you killed all of them.
We did it, guys.
Well, did the murder stop?
Hang on. On August 10th, 1912, more than a year after the first Ripper murders occurred, Henry Brown, also known as Leighton Brown, was arrested for killing Eve Florence, who had been murdered the previous November. Brown's wife told police that he had come home on successive Saturdays, the same Saturdays that many of the killings had taken place, with his clothes bloody, and would sit before the fire to dry them out. Under questioning, Brown revealed intimate details of the other crimes. Detectives believed they'd found their man. But had they? That October, Brown went to trial for the Eva Florence murder, but a black man named John Rutherford testified that the police had put Brown through the 3rd degree during questioning. Rutherford said the detectives had chained Brown's arm to a chair and then struck him in the head until he confessed. For this part, Brown
Jesus.
said he had often suffered hallucination.
Hallucination.
Mouth was dry, cotton mouth. Hallucinations, and was clear to the jury that he would admit to just about anything if he was pressured. They acquitted him on October 18th, and he became another failure in the Atlanta authorities' quest to convince someone of the Ripper murders. Even though the official tally of Ripper murders ended at 20, with the murder of a 19-year-old Comely Yellow Girl.
I'm sorry, what?
What the
Yep,
fuck
quotes.
does that mean?
Comely Yellow Girl. On May 10th, 1912, the Atlanta newspapers did not forget about him and invoked his name several times in the years that followed. In March 1913, Laura Smith was found with her... March 1913, so almost a year later. Laura Smith was found with her throat cut. Like the other victims, Smith was young, of mixed race, and worked as a servant. Then in March 1914, 3 full years after the Ripper years had begun, firefighters found notes pinned in fireboxes around the city. The author of the notes promised to cut the throats of all Negro women.
Fireboxes.
I don't know.
Maybe like
Did this some kind of thing where they used to have a little hydrant in it?
like
or
fire
something?
hydrants back then, maybe.
But maybe like kind of like a transformer box, but had a fire hydrant, maybe? I don't know.
Place where you could
something
pin a
old timey.
Something like, yeah. Hey, Google that shit. Pin note promised to cut the throats of all Negro women who were found on the streets after a certain hour of the night. The newspapers attributed the notes to Jack the Ripper, or the Atlanta Ripper. Over time, though, as memories of the murders faded, most of Atlanta forgot about the Ripper. He has since become a distant figure in the annals of American crimes. No reward was ever collected for his capture. No real suspect was ever punished. And to this day, the murders remain unsolved.
God,
And
that's
so
that's,
does the mystery of what the fuck a firebox is, because all it's shown me is fireplaces.
God damn. 20
That was lost in the annals.
You
of
kill
history.
you kill 20 people and you fucking get away with it. That's fucking ridiculous.
Probably, yeah. Unless one of the other guys, the guy they got for one, did it, but probably not. If there's, I mean, it could just been a copycat who, a year later and then 2 years later did it and pinned that note. But
Right.
back then, it's probably the same guy.
Probably, yeah.
Probably the same fucking dude.
Mark, I wanted to talk to you.
Mouth break.
We briefly mentioned this, I think on our first podcast back, Making a Murderer season 2.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
I blazed through it.
Yeah.
Mr. B, I know how you were talking about there's some stuff that was left out of the first season.
Well,
that-
yeah, and I didn't.
and
The
you
second
think-
season, I didn't jump to watch it because I was like, most of this, the big stuff, I've heard all of it in the news story
What-
now, and I didn't.
What Tom
But I found I
Segura
watched it.
says about Making a Murderer is pretty true. Like, you devote a week of your life to it, and then it ends with, you figure that shit out.
Yep. So season 2 basically is all of the theories that came out, or the criticisms that came out, like, oh, you left this evidence out.
Yeah.
And
They address it?
and they demolish it.
Oh, wow.
So do you remember when we first watched it and we were both fucking super into it?
Yeah.
And we both had a theory about who the real killer was.
Yeah.
Do you remember who we landed on?
Wasn't it the guy that went hunting?
Bobby Dassey.
Bobby
Yeah.
Dassey.
Yeah.
See, his was one of mine, and her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah,
They
the
talk about
ex-boyfriend.
his ass too in season 2.
Oh yes. So
I
here's
did
the
not
thing.
Can I,
I did not see the stepdad though. Get to it though.
can I watch wrestling?
He's wanted to get for WrestleMania.
Fucking Bobby Dassey
Was
on his computer.
Yeah.
They found
images and searches.
huh?
A bunch of images and searches in search history.
of dead women and violent pornography and child pornography.
And it wasn't even more specific, like,
It was like
how
mutilated
to
death,
how to
like
how
mutilated
to
women
how
and
to
shit.
Yeah.
cut a vein or something like that.
Like
It was a little more specific.
Fuck.
he's like a fucking sex killer. And when they brought it to the attention of the courts threw it out because they said that because it was a computer that was in like a main area, that they couldn't rule out that it was Brendan Dassey who actually did
Of
it.
course.
Yeah.
But then I can't remember the specific videos, but then they figured they had timestamped some of them when Brendan, like the searches or the downloads of pictures, something, that to times when Brendan was,
Locked up.
I don't think it was that, but like he had alibi for like being in school or something
Yeah.
like that. But
The
still.
other thing, the main bit of evidence that they say was left out of the first season that points to Stephen Avery having done it is they apparently found his sweat DNA on the hood latch of her car.
The prosecutor wanted to know how sweaty he
Right,
was.
right. Well, it turns out that means fucking nothing. There's
Yeah.
absolutely no way to determine where your DNA came from if it's not from your blood, your urine, or your saliva. So it's skin cell DNA that they found. And when they showed it at the lab, they gave you a little graph. They're like, when you see skin contact, this is how much DNA matter is usually here. And they have this little hump. They're like, this is how much was found on the hood latch. And it was
Wow.
like way too much. They also did spectronomy on the bullet that apparently killed her.
Oh, yeah.
There was no bone matter. Apparently, the 22 bullet, not only did it go all the way through her head, through 2 layers of her skull, but it did so without accruing a single piece of bone matter.
Right, and then they did
Right.
found what it did have particles of the outside, the siding on the garage, like it had obviously been shot from the outside through the garage into the floor.
Yep. They found, they had a blood splatter analyst come in and try to recreate the way the blood was spattered on in her car with a cut finger, which is how they claimed Stephen Avery's blood got there, and it just was not consistent at all. They brought in a burn expert who basically said there's no possible way her body could have been burnt that badly in that location. She was burnt elsewhere.
Like in a fucking bonfire.
Well, not a bonfire, like in a like an actual like crematorium or like an oven, like somewhere where her body could get burnt beyond that part. It's just that there's so much fucking bullshit going on.
I like when they
and the Wisconsin Attorney General is personally blocking every attempt to bring this evidence forward.
Wow.
So it's like I'm not saying he's 100% innocent, but fucking maybe take a look at it again, dude. Like there's some
the whole
serious
thing
fucking
was
problems.
based on the Manitowoc Police Department having it out for him, and if it
do you remember
now it's just a higher level of authority protecting the lower level. It just keeps, if it goes up to the Attorney General.
Do you remember the shitty deputy guy who like
clearly
the guy who found the key after he went in by himself
during the trial, where he was like, "Oh, and by the way, I have to say this is the first time my integrity has been questioned."
Yep, that guy.
And he was just in a disposition like a couple months before that.
Yep. So
shit.
After the first season came out, a guy came forward and said he talked to literally that deputy when they first put up missing signs saying her car. He's like, her truck is parked along the quarry right there. I just saw it. And he told that
someone said that?
Yeah,
someone told him right
he
after.
told the deputy. The deputy said, "Okay, thanks, we'll get right on it." And then it was reported 4 days later that they found her car.
And
What the fuck?
at one point, the car wasn't actually found on Avery land. It was actually land owned by the county.
Yeah, well, their neighbor too, who gave testimony, they interviewed him, and he's got like his lawyer there, and he's like, they're asking him questions about his testimony, and he finally looks at his lawyer, and he's like, "Can I just tell them?" And his lawyer's like, "Yeah, go for it." And he goes, he's like, they were so insistent with the story they had that literally I just said, "What do you want me to say?" And I said what they wanted me to say.
Yeah.
What?
The tooth's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, any other fucking evidence, like any other case where this amount of evidence was found,
Yeah.
there wouldn't even been a question.
Yeah, another thing they did, and
Right.
the reason this was kind of interesting to me, because I watched this show on YouTube called Mindfield. The Michael from Vsauce does it.
It's a good show.
Yeah, did you see the one with the lie detector where it determines whether or not your brain recognizes it subconsciously? Stephen Avery took that test and completely passed it. They gave him details about Teresa Hallbeck's death, and his brain did not register any familiarity with it. So he passed the subconscious lie detector test also.
One thing that was cool in there was when they had, based on Stephen's stories of after Teresa took the pictures and left and he went inside, what he saw from next door from the Dassey home and stuff. He saw Bobby, and they actually but they also think Bobby and the stepdad.
Yeah.
And then what the neighbor had said, the vehicles he had seen driving, they actually did a reenactment where they had some girl in the same year vehicle.
That was in the season 2.
Yeah. And in her vehicle acting like Teresa, phoners, and they had one as Bobby and somebody following behind, and when the neighbor saw him go this way, and from their account it looks like he possibly got her to stop and turn around because he saw her. He's like, "Oh, I need you to take a picture. We'll pay you to take a picture."
Yeah, because she was a photographer.
Yeah, on our lot too. Can you quick come take a picture?
Okay, I gotta know. Like, spoiler warnings, whatever. Does it end the same way as the first season, or it's like basically nothing new
it
is
ends
happening?
even
with the
more
case?
depressing than the first season. He still has a lawyer who's working extremely hard, and her entire she's made her career on exonerating people.
Yeah, I just saw a news article the other
and
day about her.
she's still
declaring
working
something.
on it. A big part of the season was trying to get Brendan Dassey's testimony thrown out, or his confession thrown
the
out.
one where
They actually got it to
cornered him.
the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and in a 5-4 they ruled that it would stay.
Right.
Wow.
When they did the
Couldn't
three,
be released.
they first do it with just 3 selected of the judges, and 2 of the 3 said, let's move it forward. But
Yep.
then there was an appeal, and then it was forced all 7 of the judges.
One of
There
the-
was
one of
two
the
different
judges-
times
One
where-
of the judges said that the video of the confession made her skin crawl. It was so.
Which one was
coerced.
it? One with the 2 cops in the room?
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
with the 2 cops in the room.
There's
Where he
one where
slouched
he's
down.
like in school, and there's another guy he's like sitting in a desk. And
That was one of an investigator hired by his original lawyer.
yeah.
That
It's-
fucking creepy, disgusting.
And fucking
shitty
Ken
dude.
Kratz they go when Brendan's attorneys and the people working on his case go to some, wasn't in Wisconsin, it was in Chicago, some
Yeah.
big court in Chicago to file a motion for his release for stuff like that, and it started a motion. It was a big news story, and then who shows up there? Ken Kratz. So as soon as they leave, to do
Sweaty
an
Ken Kratz?
interview
Yeah, and
saying,
he
"Hey, my book
conveniently-
comes out
yep,
in 2 months."
Conveniently, he's
book.
got a new book out. He's like, I think it would be inappropriate to talk about my new book right now, but I'm just here.
But when it comes
Yeah,
out on
like, you
whatever,
fucking
piece of
shit.
check it out. He's such a.
Was he
fucking
sweating?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but he was just fucking
His
such a low
sweaty uncle.
So
And I feel bad for Brendan because it gets fast where it goes through and it's good and it's to the point where like okay they have
It got to the point where
they have a
the
date
state
set up where he's like you're gonna get out on I don't remember the day, it was like November 4th.
The state brought
you
someone
are getting
to
out.
the house he was going to get released to, approved it for security
Right.
for him to be released. Like it was there,
Right.
and then the
day before he
Attorney
was gonna get
General
out,
just
they're
personally
like,
blocked
"Oh,
it.
just kidding. Now you're still in there." And that happened twice,
Psych.
and now he's still in there.
Yep.
I don't know. They may have both done it, but from
I
what
mean,
I've seen,
maybe,
from what
but-
I've seen, there definitely wasn't enough to. I mean, this is innocent until proven guilty. There definitely, from what I've got, wasn't enough to say for sure.
The problem is there wasn't enough evidence there to make that conviction without Brendan's confession,
Right, and that
which
was
not kosher.
coerced, right? And I really think Brendan didn't really have anything to do
No,
with it.
he's just
Avery,
an
maybe,
innocent
but-
little dullard. Like he's,
Right.
It's so sad because he's like such a, like you just want to give him a big hug.
Yeah,
But yeah, his IQ is like
some
81
WrestleMania.
or something.
right. He just wanted to get home for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
he's in till he's 81.
No. His IQ is 81.
He's
I see.
until like he's like 48 or something like that is when he could get out or something like that.
Like he's eligible for parole then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is just fucked
So
up.
there's an attorney still working on the case, but the attorney general has been not cooperative.
Right.
That is depressing.
Yeah.
But maybe they're still filing motions. They're still trying to get stuff done. Like it's one of those things where like even if they were, I get that they can't just like retry. Like you can't just get a new trial for every bit of misconduct in prosecution. But there's a lot of fuck up here. Like
Oh yeah. Big time.
it's very, very sad. And another thing too that I found out that's really fucked up is apparently you don't have a constitutional right to freedom. Like you don't have the right to not be in prison for something you didn't do. So,
Wow.
This is America.
right. The whole thing is really fucked up. But just like the first season, the way that it's put together and the way that it's like structured, it was just like, okay, next episode.
I mean, it's
next
the
episode, next
first
episode.
2 episodes are a little slower than the first season. Like I was like, okay, I don't know, but then boom, then it's like the first
Then
season.
it
was.
starts to, yeah. I mean, there are like there's an episode where half of it is just like an uncut, like transcript, because they don't allow cameras in the courtroom, but it was
The court
recorded,
justice is talking.
so it's
Yeah.
just like half an hour of an actual. Court
It's like
case
it's
happening,
drawings
like,
of them.
yeah,
then
and
you
it's
hear their
just
audio.
I'm just glued
Hear
to
their
the screen.
audio.
I'm like, oh,
Wow.
fucking what's that?
That's when the one was like, that confession
made my skin crawl. Yeah.
Ugh. What happened with So I remember really being hooked when the attorneys checked the evidence thing and found his blood sample thing had been like tampered with.
Yeah.
What happened with
hold
that
on.
in the court case?
Oh, was that what there was like a perfect needle?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a syringe
Like,
prick in it. Yeah, and it just so happens there was a bunch of his blood thrown in an inconsistent pattern with a wound all over the car,
wheel,
the steering
the
wheel
door
and
and
shit.
stuff, yeah.
Because they didn't recover his fingerprints from there because he was wiping that, but he left his blood there because.
So what did they say that like he cut it? Like was a window broken or something, and like he cut it there?
No,
Like,
no, he had
they just,
said-
like-
It was like an existing cut.
He had
that
said he had cut it earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And because they found blood on his like bathroom sink. He said I don't remember what he was doing. He was doing something. He said
They work
cut
in a
his finger.
salvage yard, so
Yeah,
there's
he said he had cut
a
his finger.
thousand things.
And
you
there
Cut
was
can
his
cut your-
finger on the key that he was putting.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
I told Blair about the key. I'm like, so the police go in, they're looking for this key. They clear the room. They say that they can't find it. They call it. The deputy comes in and goes, I'm going to give it one more.
a day later, I'll just go. Just me.
Yeah,
Just me.
me. I'm going to go give it one more look. And then, found it right here. Got it. Hey
Oh,
guys,
I'm from
found the
the
key.
Manitowoc
Turns out
police
it was
department.
right here.
Found the key
whole
right here.
time.
Not suspicious at all.
They shouldn't have been allowed. They were like breaking rules to even be
yeah.
on the crime
On the-
scene because they were being disposed or
Right.
deposed
Deposed, yeah.
while that was happening, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck up. Yeah, it just goes so deep.
makes my skin crawl.
You just threw me down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, I was just going to tell you, like, if the first season hooked you, like, it's, you know it's not going anywhere fucking, like, roses or anything, but it's interesting. It's definitely worthy to watch and sort of.
Oh yeah.
They do a slightly better job this season of, like, trying to show, like, the other side a bit
Well, I think
more.
because they got a lot of flack for the first season.
Yeah, but, yeah, I don't know.
But it doesn't. I mean, I get why it does. The episodes don't flow quite as smooth as the first season because the first season they had 10 years to put it all together.
Yeah.
And this one they're trying to keep up with. So they're trying to. I mean, it goes to like. I think it ends like. The last thing they talk about was like a month before it came out on Netflix.
Yeah.
So they were trying to turn it out fast. So it's not quite as smooth as the first season, but still good.
Still good.
Which I was surprised. I was just like,
there's a lot of good, like, actual investigation going on, which I think is really interesting.
Huh.
But yeah, so the Ripper murder kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, when I saw the Bobby Dassey thing, I think they showed you some of the pictures too that he had, and it's like a black and white picture of like a naked woman's corpse. She has no arms or legs. It's just like a fucking like it's like sick shit.
Well, and Bobby talked about how he did a lot of deer hunting and stuff,
Right.
and so he knew how to remember and take apart a body. To an extent, I mean, deer hunting's way different. I'm assuming than taking apart a human body, but pulling organs and stuff out is probably decently similar.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't like it.
Happy
so
times.
it's poop. It's poop. The world we live in is poop.
It's poop.
There's a lot of bad people.
World sucks.
I still think
Hate it.
one of the worst things in the entire world is a corrupt cop. Like if you're supposed to protect people and you
It's your
don't-
one job.
I hate crooked cops.
Yeah.
It's your one fucking job.
Yeah. Fucking
Serpico.
protect and serve, God damn it.
What do we got,
I
a
was
bunch of crooked cops?
I was seeing red when we watched that Cracked video about how the Supreme Court ruled that the police don't have to protect you. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
fucked up.
Yeah, we were. What movie did I just watch? That crooked. Oh, Place Beyond the Pines.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
crooked
Fucking
cops.
that was Ray Liotta, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whenever
the
I
scene
think
with
of
Ray
Ray Liotta-
Liotta's fucking trying to take him out into the woods to kill him. That was the most intense thing I've seen in a
Oh,
long
man.
time.
In the movie Narc, Ray Liotta takes off his sock and fills it with billiard balls and beats
Oh,
a guy
yeah.
with it.
Oh, still my
Because
bit, Ray
you-
Liotta, billiard balls.
Piece of shit! He's beating him in the head with his billiard ball socks.
That was on a TV show.
Ever since he
Jennifer
was a
Lopez.
kid, he wanted to be a gangster. So
Yeah,
I
True.
guess that's what it.
Yeah.
that's what it takes. Oh, well, does anyone have anything else they want to...
Thank you for joining us this week on Ray Liotta Weekly.
Dude, if this podcast was all Ray Liotta all the time, I'd still be into it.
Especially
Same
when we got to the
Ray
Name of the
Liotta
King
place.
episode.
He was in the
Same
Name of the
Ray
King?
Liotta.
Yeah, wasn't that the
The Jason Statham joined?
Oh, Dungeon Siege?
Yeah,
he was in that.
he was the bad
The
guy.
bad guy, yeah.
He was the wizard.
I remember that.
Oh my
You
god!
remember
fuck.
he pins him to the wall with books.
With the Krug.
Yeah.
Nah, Krug.
Nah, Krug. It's the goddamn Krug.
Who was the king in that?
Burt Reynolds.
Burt
Oh,
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty boy.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
What a legend.
God,
Anyways,
Terrible.
movie was so dumb. We saw that in the theater, dude.
So I want to put out there, and Donald check because he's got access to all the stats and info. Because I still think
got
some point we should do. It'd be fun to do a commentary episode on some, and it could be something we actually like or something that's shitty. But like I said, it's probably got to be some, preferably on Netflix, because
Netflix
most people have
or
Netflix.
something easy
But it
to
could be,
access.
but it could be Hulu or Prime. So a lot of people have those too. But
Yeah.
Netflix would be number one because more people have that. I think that would be fun.
I think it
Yeah.
would too.
So if anyone wants to give us suggestions,
A show
Yeah, for
update. We are eligible to put our show on Spotify now, but I can't do it because one of the things you have to sign before getting on Spotify is that you own the rights to all the music used in your episodes. And
Got this
I thought Spotify said there is a dick minimum.
Dickman, yeah.
I've got this.
Oh, I gotta own the
acid,
right.
But I can't do it. Well, I'll do it. I thought I'd get on my bench grinder. Weird tangent.
Then he shoots off into his head. He's like, "Oh, think I go to the hospital, man.
What are you talking about?
Hospital?
Hot rod?
Trash can.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, everybody, Dave's back.
anyways,
Bathroom
Anyway.
here is nuts.
You shitbirds.
All right, guys.
Bag of fireworks. have you
any-
watched
any-
Barry? Speaking of that, have you seen Barry? You have HBO.
I've not seen Barry.
Barry's. I
do-
think
I
season's
do
coming
have
to March. It's
HBO.
fucking good.
Ever.
I want to see it.
You've had HBO for a while now. How far are you in Game of Thrones?
I'm
Middle of
gonna
season
wait.
2.
I'm gonna wait till Game of Thrones is done, and then I'll get into it. There's only one more.
Wait till
season now?
everything's spoiled.
Yeah.
In April.
Yeah, and then I'll watch it.
Wait till everything's spoiled.
Guess what, Mr. B? I'll have no. Guess what? No waiting.
It's true.
No, but you could watch it now and get right up to it and watch it right there.
Yeah, but then I have
Yeah,
to.
but then you have to wait.
No, you
long
could
has it
wait
been?
and watch it
Wait.
right as
7-8 years.
And then I don't want to be the having to wait a week after every cliffhanger fucking episode. No bullshit. I'll wait. till it's
patience is a
done.
virtue, man.
That's what I'm literally
That's
what
what
I'm
he's
doing is patience.
Nah, I'm talking about patience between episodes.
Nah,
is a
he's
virtue.
talking about different patience.
Different
Not the right kind of patience, no.
No, you have stubborn patience.
Yeah.
That's not stubborn.
I'm
it's
talking
fun.
about enlightened patience.
Anyways,
Anyways, fucking okay. Everyone, write in. Who's more patient? Me for waiting
God.
for the show to be done, or Mr. B waiting a whole week between episodes? Who's more patient? Write in, please. Let
Mr.
us
B,
know.
waiting on the
And
cliffhangers
year or
instead of
2
just you
years between
binging.
seasons,
Yeah,
too. Don't
Don
forget
is just
about that.
binging, letting half the stuff get spoiled because you know about most of the shit, and not from us. You've just known about it.
Let us know who's more patient, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Just let us know.
Fuck you.
Go ahead.
Any final thoughts, guys?
no.
I'm the most patient.
Mr. B
Wrong.
might be a serial murderer.